You are watching Faaather Fish. Now please enjoy the video. You are watching Faaather Fish. Now please enjoy the video.
And more. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
Hello, fanatical! Chris George, Renwood, First Class Fish, Natoscape, James Green, EJ.
Hey! How are you?
KBH Nanofish, Fishing Strip by Rich, Steady Nona, Joshua Bone,
Let's talk about fish, let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
well, goodness sakes.
Oh, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
I didn't get a chance to test my mic, so.
No, you're good. It's perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. I've got way too much going on. I don't want to have way too much going on. How are you? I feel like I haven't seen you forever.
I know we haven't talked all week. Hardly, just a minute here and there.
Yeah, that's true. There we go.
I'm doing okay. I'm okay.
Good. All right, I fixed my phone and I'm ready to go. I almost didn't make it. It was like one of those technical difficulties things, but I'm here.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
Yeah. I hadn't done a live stream in a while because of everything going on, so I didn't have any of my equipment set up, so I had to put it all together quick.
Well, you did good. Mary has been knocked out for weeks.
I know. I miss her.
Yeah, I do too. She can't get back on.
Is it like a permanent thing or?
Well, it's got to do with her provider. And they've got coax, and apparently just they haven't got it working for whatever reason.
That's really disappointing. She should be I hope she's not paying for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not. Right.
I mean, she could go
Let's
all
see.
Karen.
Really. T-Bone's here. Hey, T-Bone.
Yeah.
3D. Skitty Nona sent me a note this week. She just found us a week or two ago, and it's just delighted. And it's such fun having Skitty Nona, which I
Getting
assume is
Nona.
a woman. I don't know. Skitty Nona.
Do I know who Chick of the Sea is? Because that's like the best name ever.
I know. No, I don't know. Chicken of the Sea.
I mean, forgive me. I'm adjusting my camera.
Fanaticals. I know. What a gang. What a crew. Chris
Yeah.
George. First Class Fish was in.
Whitefish salad.
Whitefish salad. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
I almost feel like we should have a contest. Who can come up with the most
the
unique?
most clever name.
Yes, I was going to say corny too, but hey.
Really? Well, there is that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it says done duckweed elbows.
I like it.
There
It's
you go.
Dane.
Done at duckweed elbows.
I think it's Dane. I think it's Dane.
Is it Dane? I can't see it. Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
Dane. Yeah, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Chicken of the Sea is good.
Yeah. Chick of the Sea. Chick.
Well, no, it's
he's a scuba
chicken.
diver. Yeah, she's a scuba
in
diver.
of the sea. Yeah,
Yeah.
a scuba diver. Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's the week been like for you? What we going to talk about tonight?
The week has just blown by me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been having trouble with my eye all week. Let's see. Wednesday, Thursday, yesterday. Yesterday, my brother had to go way up to almost into New Jersey. And he asked me if I wanted to go so that we could stop in at the fish store in Dover on the way back. So I decided to go with him. It was like a 2.5-hour drive one way. Well, on the way back, I got into the website of the shop, and lo and behold, they're closed on Thursdays.
Why? What?
They're open Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Why Thursdays though?
From 1 to 8. I don't know. They're open 4 days a week, so we couldn't go. That was kind of sad.
It is
a little disappointing, but I'll get back up there. Okay. I was talking with Paul. You remember Paul? Paul was on with you.
Yes.
Remember when I was driving down a month ago?
Yeah, Coral Reef Paul.
Yeah, Paul is doing the tech for the Venice Aquarium Society, and he screwed up first time to show off. He messed up, did not get the camera or the mic that he needed to be able to broadcast. So the Venice Aquarium Society was not online. That was last night. Andres, who owns Bioaquatics, was the speaker, and that's a real loss because he's magnificent. He did a program on nanos, nano tanks, and nano fish.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
I should have been there. Oh, wait.
Really?
It's
well,
they
didn't broadcast it. But
right.
I'm sure he didn't record it either because they didn't have the equipment to. So we lost that one. More's the pity.
It is too bad.
Anyway, I talked to him today, but he sent me some fish this week.
Oh,
some natives. Yeah, a couple of species of natives. So I've got those.
Awesome.
And I went out Wednesday and bought all of the bags of dirt and mulch and sphagnum and whatever else I needed in order to be able to set my tanks up. So I've got all that now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to set up, I'm going to try to mix enough dirt tomorrow to get the tank set up and see if I can do that. So that'll be the 29s. I broke one. So
Okay.
it's going to be 329s and 120 tall, which will be the same height, and it'll be down in a corner. So, you know, I could repair the other one. It's a crack, runs across the entire back. But as soon as I do that, it's going to leak. And
Yeah.
I don't want it. I've got this in the house on a. It's actually on a tile floor, but that tile is sitting on wood, so
Hmm.
I really don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
You know, I could mess things up big time. Anyway, so maybe tomorrow we'll start getting tanks put together finally.
Maybe.
I've been here a month and it hadn't happened yet.
Well, you'll get there. Hey, Kevin. Kevin, I have exciting news. Really, really, really exciting news. I just found out today after work. I have Scarlet Batis babies. I have Scarlet Batis babies. You have no idea how big that is for me. And they're about, and these babies, they're not even little. They've apparently been in the tank for a while because they're like maybe a third of the size of their parents. Well, not maybe a quarter of the size of their parents. So I saw at least one, freaked out, put the vegetation that I had was about to take out, put that back into place, fed them, and put some green water in the tank just in case there were babies, and then, you know, carried on because I had this live stream coming up and I wanted to. But I'm like, as soon as this live stream is done, we are going to be doing some major investigation. But confirmed, babies. I have babies.
That's
I'm a
exciting.
mom.
That's exciting. And they're not an easy one to spawn. So
No, I guess
you've
not.
done real well.
And there was blue drum shrimp in there, and there was also the parents in there. So I had 2 females and 1 male, and they had really stopped kind of loving each other, shall we say, even though they had live foods. And so my plan was to kind of take apart the tank a little bit and like maybe do a slightly different setup. Definitely take the shrimp out of there because apparently they're not known to be compatible if you're trying to breed, which was a mistake in the first place. But yeah, looks like life will find a way even with the challenges.
Nice. Kevin did not get the plants yet.
Okay. They're talking about diving. We've got some certified divers here.
Right. That's exciting.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I was certified years ago. I've not been diving for years either. It's been a long, long time. I think my last dive was in the Maldives, curiously, in the British West Indies. Oh, probably 25 years ago or so.
Well, that's 25 years ago experience that I haven't had yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, you need to do it. It will change your way of thinking.
I'm going to try to raise my kids first, but yes, if I get the opportunity, I will go.
Right, for sure. Yeah, you could do some diving nearby. You're right on the Gulf.
Yeah, I guess so. Kevin says he sent out the plants Monday.
Really, and it's Friday. Huh.
Gotta love the U.S. Postal Service.
Huh. Sent them out Monday. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen them. I'll look around the house. Maybe they stuck them somewhere. Lord knows.
You better find them quick. They're living.
Do you have the tracking number, Kevin? We can look it up and see what happened.
Hey, is there an echo on your end? On
No.
my end?
No, I'm not getting it.
Mic check, folks. Is there an echo?
I was trying to get online on my phone earlier, and I had to give it up. because the feedback was terrible.
Oh, well, I know it's not my phone. I'm getting some feedback with my mic, I think, but I've had some technical difficulties setting everything up today. So, yeah, an echo that just started. I agree. I don't know what it is.
Fanatical here's a slight one. I'm not getting it at all.
It's something. It's not my phone, so I don't know what's
Huh.
going on. But I might just leave the studio and come back, and then try to do something. So give me.
I don't know. I'm not getting it.
All right.
She went away. Let's see. Joshua Bone. Who is this? Vibes Aquatics. Hey, Vibes. Get the thumbs up popping. Nice to see you, Vibes. Samuel Schultz was hearing an echo. Joshua Bone was hearing an echo. I was not hearing an echo.
I think I fixed it. Nope. Yes. How is it?
I'm not getting it. I haven't heard it at all.
I think a plug of my mic was loose, so I think I fixed it. So.
Oh, okay.
At least I'm not hearing the echo. So, all right. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that, folks.
Huh.
Back in the.
Yeah, Chicken of the Sea says no echo.
Good.
So I guess it's fixed.
Yeah, I found a loose cable, so I think that's what it was.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got
those vibes. Good. Okay.
Yeah. It's been a long week. But
yeah, you had your first full week of work this week.
Yes, I started a new job.
On Monday, so you worked the whole week.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But like I was telling you, it was beautifully timed. So for my work, there is a Home Depot about 4 minutes away. There's a post office less than 3 minutes away. So I can literally, I have an office, so I can bring whatever I want in the morning that I want to send out or to mail out. And I can go right to the post office during lunch, get it out there, and then, get all that stuff done. I loved it. I wasn't, it was kind of in the back of my mind when I accepted the position. It's also really close to home, etc. So.
Oh, that's good too. Mm-hmm. And you got approval to be able to put a couple of tanks in your office.
I did. That was like one of the first things I had. I asked, and I already and I already started planning what it's going to be, and I already started doing some research. But I have this marine land. There's going to be more than one. Oh, there's going to be more than one. They seem to be fine with strange people. Well, I'm going to strange it up. I've got at least 2 in mind. I might have more. We'll see. I'm kind of like one of those, like, how far do I want to push my coworkers? But definitely the one I'm planning is I have this. It's a pretty popular 5-gallon tank. It's that little Marine Land 5-gallon tall.
Nice tank.
Yeah, and so that's definitely going into the office. And I know I want to put the blue. There's another echo again. No.
Huh.
Don't echo. Stop echoing.
Well.
Okay. I know I want to put the
Chicken of the Sea. So I was on an aquarium forum, and this lady from Costa Rica posted she adds methylene blue at every water change because that's what the fish store told her to do. Now she wonders how to wean off. just do water changes and don't add it anymore. Yeah, this came up on Discord this week. Somebody was adding methylene blue routinely with every water change. It's like pouring Clorox in your tank. I mean, it has the identical same effect. It's a toxin, and it's a toxin. It's done in small quantities, like a drop per gallon. It doesn't kill everything. It only kills some things, like all of the microscopic life. So you wind up not being able to maintain a balanced tank. It's a typical solution to a non-existent problem. If your intent is to have a sterile environment, then methylene blue will help get you there because it will kill microfauna and microflora. It'll kill microscopic life. Unfortunately, by doing that, you destroy the water's ability to be able to balance itself and to achieve a stable environment. So it's counterintuitive. At the very least, it's counterintuitive. The Triple Crown is next week, and Aquashella Dallas is the following week.
Yes.
I'm not going to be able to make it to either one. I was hoping to get to the Triple Crown. That's in Louisville. And I've got a bunch of friends coming up from Florida who are going to be there. But I'm not going to make that. And getting to Dallas is out of the question. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go back to Orlando. I may have to wait until something happens in New York, I guess. That'll be, or Jersey. That'll be the closest to me. There are some shows coming up in Pennsylvania and New Jersey in the next month or two. So if I can get my act together, I'll try to do some of that.
Kevin says that your plants have been delivered.
Really? I wonder where. I should go look. Let me go look. You want to talk a bit? I'm going to go.
Oh,
look.
I don't know because my mic is giving me issues again.
Well,
why is my mic giving me issues? It's new. Darn it, Amazon! I trusted you. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. How about this? I'm gonna just take out the plug. Can you guys hear me at all? Nope. It's still there. This is weird. Well, he's gonna check, and I'm gonna have to say something. And it's not my mic, so I don't know what's going on. But I will hopefully figure it out in the next few minutes. I'm pretty good like that. But, okay, so it is, do try turning the volume down. Okay. Actually, I think it's just my voice. I tend to talk loud. It's, la la la. Default speakers, echo cancellation, automatically adjust the mic. Oh well. Okay, so as long as people can hear me, that's a good thing, and then it's clear. Oh, you got it.
It was in my mailbox, and I checked the mailbox this morning, and it was not there this morning, so it got delivered today. Should we get into it and see?
Why not?
Might as well. This is mailed on Monday, so it's been 5 days in the bag.
No, Grenwood, I don't have more than one tab open. Yeah, my mic is definitely giving me some trouble. I hate
Well,
that.
there's a lot of stuff here.
Nice
That
and
looks
sealed.
like frog spit, maybe. This didn't make it, I don't think.
Oh, it might come back. What is it?
I don't know. I don't know. A lot of brown leaves. There's some green moss in there.
Good.
Let's
Well, the
see.
moss anyway.
That might be okay. I'll dump all these in.
Well, you know what I realized was the same weekend as Aquashella Dallas. I'm gonna take this off. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. Well, the same weekend, at least, that Aquashella Dallas is going on is the same weekend that I have to pick up my daughter from.
Oh, right.
And it's literally like 45 minutes north of Dallas where I have to go. An hour.
Well, I think some of it made it. We'll get it in water and see.
Okay.
Madness.
It is madness. It is absolute madness. So it's fine if my mic doesn't work. I'm still getting the echo, even though I don't have. So it's not my equipment. Maybe it's
I don't know. I'm not at all.
okay. Well, as long as people can.
Let's see. If I don't know. I can't turn on. I don't have my YouTube volume turned on.
I don't have any. I only have one tab open, and that's StreamYard. I've got YouTube on my phone, but it's like it. That's not where the echo's coming from. It's not. It's not at all.
South Pacific wants to know if I'm in Maryland. I am in Salisbury. Salisbury is right on the Delaware border, about half an hour from Ocean City, which is on the coast.
Mm-hmm. There is an echo. There is still an echo. It's going to drive me crazy. Oh, well, at some point I do want to get on my phone. Oh, I want to show you something. So remember a few weeks ago on the StreamYard, I had that experiment where I took those two samples of green water.
Yes.
And I put them in the dark for 3 days. And then I brought them back out. And I think I had one with fish fertilizer and one like with a little bit of fish food and the other one. But anyways, my point is that I put them out in the sun for 2 days, kind of shook them around a little bit. And I went and I put one of the samples in with a larger body of water, just like I would suggest if you're trying to grow your own green water. And every couple of days, and because I read this online, I just sort of like kind of shook it a little bit or twisted it around, not too much, but just to like shake up the sediment on the bottom. So I did that. Like I put it in clear water, a clean water. I put it in clean water. I put that sample, which is only 2 ounces, and then I put some plant fertilizer, some organic plant fertilizer in it. And that's all I did. And I put it out in the sun, but not like 24/7 sun. There was a little bit of shade. And I wanted to show you.
Oh, look at that.
This is 2 days.
Huh.
This is 2 days.
Looks green.
It's very, I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice.
Okay.
It's green. Now, turn your room speakers all the way down and monitor with headphones. Okay. We will try the monitoring with headphones. But that was something I wanted to make sure, I wanted to show everybody. How's this? Do I have an echo? I don't have an echo. I don't have an echo. Okay, so far, so good. But I was doing some a little bit of research about green water because I'm always trying to learn. And I was reading somewhere that it required, or they said that when it turns really dark green, that you need to almost like start over again, because it kind of it has like green water has a cyclical lifespan where it gets greener, 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 dark pea soup, and then it can, if you don't harvest it or add new water, or take some out, almost start all over again, it'll start to implode on itself and go yellow.
Well, it burns out all the available nutrition.
Okay.
It just dies off.
So how do you, I guess you just, I mean, what I do is I harvest a lot, yes, but I put stuff in, but usually I put aquarium water in, like old aquarium water.
Right.
What would you, I literally have 2 10-gallon tanks plus what I brought back from that road trip that I did last Friday.
Right.
Was it Friday? Yeah. Was it Friday or Sunday? I don't remember. But last weekend.
Sunday.
It was Sunday. Yes. And it was still pea soup green. And
that was amazing.
Yeah.
And you're pretty sure that the fish you got in there are gambusia.
Yes. They yes. Actually, and you know what? I thought maybe at some point I would hop on my phone and I would show you guys the gambusia as well as the scarlet batis, and the fish I want to ask more about. But are we right? Do you want me to do that right now?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave and come back. So
great.
I promise. Oh, in the meantime, Chick of the Sea is asking if thread fin can be kept in a 10-gallon, 2 or 3 of them. But have fun. I'll be back.
Absolutely right. Roots and snails in green water. Sketty. Capital Razor, a good listener. Let's see. Sketty says mine goes clear again. That's exactly what it does. It'll go clear. If you leave green water, rather than try to kill it off, just leave it. It'll clear up. It'll do what it's doing. It'll finish what it's doing. It'll burn up all of the available nutrition and go out of business. Kevin is talking about a pair of Apisto trifasciatas instead of the Nanochroma splendens. I think you'll love them. I think you really will. Apistos are so nice and so interesting, and they're really a lot easier to deal with than some of the Nanochroma species, particularly the Tanganyika, the East African Nanochromas. They're considerably trickier for whatever reason. Can thread pin be kept in a 10-gallon, 2 or 3? I don't see why not. It should be fine. Just make sure you got enough plant material in there to make them comfortable. Lefty 3213A. Doing it. My YouTube is doing weird things. Oh, dang it, my YouTube. Oh, well. YouTube's like that. What else? Let's see. She's back. Whoops. What do we got here?
Okay, so forgive the glare.
These are the fish that you caught Sunday.
That's correct. There's a little bit of a glare.
Yeah, what really threw me about them was the color. They have a lot of color in them.
And they do.
Gambusia typically
blue eyes.
Yeah. The pearling, there was a lot of pearl iridescence in them.
They've gotten a little bit darker, I think because they were just, they were half starved. But, well, here's the weird thing, though, is one of them, the largest one, has a little black spot in the middle. Where is that little one? Yeah, right there. He's got a little cheek.
On the dorsal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's typical.
Okay.
That's natural, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Gambusi. I don't see because there seems to be more females than males, but the males
Right.
definitely have that distinctive.
The Gandapodium, right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that makes a lot more sense because they're a very hardy fish, and they're found in environments that a lot of other fish would not survive in.
yeah, it was pretty extreme. I mean, we just literally saw a big
Yeah,
puddle of green water, and it was 106 degrees, and we were like, well, what can we find in here? And
right.
that's what we found. Along with those water
Yeah,
bugs.
that's
Oh my
male
God!
right there. Yeah. Huh.
What'd you say?
I just saw a male. Just saw
Yeah,
him with his tail. Yeah.
yeah, there is definitely a couple of males in there. I think most of them are females, a couple of small ones. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
it looks
definitely,
like the males are
yeah.
significantly smaller. Now, I had sent you two of those that
Yeah,
were
one's really pretty.
that had a lot
So,
of black in them. So if you
yeah,
put those in there, that'll change the genetics of the group, and you'll start getting more of those melanistics.
interesting. Okay, so hello, my Daphnia tank. Lots of Daphnia in there, but you can't tell because there's tons of green water. Ha ha ha. Where are those Gambusia in here? They're in here. You would think they're always so bold. You think where'd they go?
Yeah, right. I see one at the top, I think. Yeah, maybe not.
No,
No.
there isn't any at the top, but
Huh.
oh well. Oh, I have a shrimp in there. I didn't know I had a shrimp in there. Must have been an accidental breed.
You got all kind of surprises, don't you?
Yeah, I
there
just
he
know.
is. Little blue
Yeah,
shrimp, maybe.
it's
Oh,
possible.
there's a blue line killie.
Yes, that's the only one I have. You sent me what we thought was killie. They turned out
I
to
have
be.
a bunch more I'll send you. I just got them this week.
Awesome. There are some leaf killifish in there. I counted three.
Right there. That's a least killifish. That's a female.
Yes. There's another one the same size, and then there's another one that's significantly smaller.
Probably a male.
I think I feel like I have two females and a male. So
Perfect.
Perfect. It might be it would be perfect for me to start my little 5-gallon with. So, and I was reading up about them. Apparently, they're live bearers. Tell me a little bit more about them. They're really pretty.
Well, they are live bearers. Let's see if I can show this.
Where are you, Mr. Big? Yeah. Stop moving. Yep, there's one.
There's the female.
Yeah. Oh, I found the male. He's come out.
And that's not it.
They're really small.
Yeah, there's the male. They're tiny. They're like, the male is half an inch.
My God, I have more than one shrimp in here. I don't know what happened.
The female will get up to an inch. She'll get a little bigger.
Yeah. I've just got these tanks. I let them grow wild. I don't even know what's in them half the time. Okay, so I see the two Gambusi in that tank, and of course I guess they're shy, which is like, why? Why are you
need to get them out? But that'll be good to put them in with the other Gambusi.
Yeah, I will. So, that's definitely a female. I saw the male in there. My God, there's another shrimp. I swear to God, I don't know what happened. I have
Well, they've been breeding in there, obviously.
Yeah, but I took all the shrimp out months ago.
Apparently not. Well, you probably had babies.
I know, that's exactly it. I had babies. Look, there's the male. That little guy over there, I think is the male. He's not nearly as round. And there's that Gambusi. Did you see that black and white one?
Yep.
Yeah. There's two males in there. I'm going to take them out. See, that's one. That's two.
That's one. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I have, I think, a baby American flagfish because he's such a baby still. He does fine. So
Yeah.
I also read that this type of killifish, I read that they're omnivores.
So that's
The leaf killie.
yeah. The least killie is the Formosa. That's the live bearer. It's
Okay.
not a killie. It's
Oh,
called a
why
killie.
is it
It's
called a
not a
killie?
killie. I don't know why. It's not a killie. There are no killies that are live bearers.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I've got shrimp in here. How the heck that happened? All right. Well, I know I saw a baby fish once, but I doubt it made it. Because there was other things in there that would have. It didn't have a great chance. See. All right. So this is my scarlet baddest tank. There's one of my girls. Come on. And yes, it is a girl. It's not a male. It's confirmed female. Trust me, unless they decide that they, like going that route.
What is it?
It's a scarlet baddest female.
Oh, okay.
There's the male over there. Yep. And there's another female. Again, they're both females.
For sure.
And I am not going to get my hands in there, but you see this hot mess of, like, there's moss. Java moss is out of control. How do I stop the glare? I've got too many lights on, I think. How do I stop that glare? Okay, that helps.
Helped a little.
It's always, I have a lot of lights. All right. Helps somewhat, I think. So this is a hot mess right here. It's literally half covered with Java moss, and then the other half covered with hornwort. And I was digging around the
grass in there too.
Hair
looks like hair algae.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of that as well. That's why I was kind of cleaning it out. I wanted to, like, get some of the...
it's a good environment for those babies, though.
That's the thing, is that I didn't realize it, but that's where they've been hiding for months.
Oh, you bet.
I guess. And I moved aside some of the When I moved aside some of the hornwort, I was like, I saw a baby in there that was about, I don't know, it was, see Mama's over there?
Right.
I'm not looking a little, he was probably about a third of that size and thin, obviously. But I was like, I freaked out in joy, obviously, but I was like, oh my God. And I put the hornwort back, which was fun because I had it in water anyway. And I was like double checking, making sure that, there wasn't any babies that fell out. And then, so immediately what I did was I put some green water there, specifically all over the hornwort, just in case there are babies, I know that they really enjoy green water. And then of course I put some live daphnia in there. So they're in there. I'm going to find them, but like, this is like, Friday I get home, I'm trying to do some maintenance, and surprise, I have babies.
That's exciting.
Very, very
I remember when you set that up.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I put the blue dream shrimp in, and you were like, the blue dream shrimp might eat the eggs. And I was like, crap, I didn't know. But I get, and, it's possible, very possible they did eat some of the eggs, but life still found a way for some of them. So and it wasn't like it was a baby. It'd clearly been living there for a while. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Whitefish salad. You're talking about Keystone Clash, an anonymous breakfast and lunch buffet And I need to get back up to your earlier comment. I thought I saw it in Morgantown. Oh, Morgantown. That's West Virginia. The Shady Maple Smorgasbord. That's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive for me.
Yeah. And later I'm going to put some vinegar eels in here just in case these babies.
Perfect, right?
Mama and Daddy also like the vinegar eels, and it's always good to have them in abundance.
You bet.
So, yeah. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Any girl, anyways. All right, I'm going to sign off here and go back to the computer. But,
All right.
Yeah. But one last look at the fish I got.
They are cool, aren't they?
It's my first find.
Never thought I'd appreciate Gambusia.
Well, I thought maybe I would eventually put them in my outdoor pond. I don't know. I've got flagfish in there.
You can't put them in with anything else. They'll destroy anything else you put in with them.
Okay.
Reverse respiration.
All right.
I don't know what. Okay. Reverse respiration. What is it? I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's see. What is reverse respiration? Leads to respiratory failure, circulatory collapse. Oh, I know what it is. It's the opposite of normal breathing. I experienced it once. When I had open heart surgery, I was laying on a gurney, and I couldn't move. I was like, torn apart. And I had a nurse that I swear to this day was trying to kill me. And he put a tube down my throat that went into the left lobe of my lung. And every time I took a breath, I felt air escape. I breathed in, and it was like it deflated. And that's exactly what happened. I was having trouble breathing. That was early at night. Was having trouble breathing all night long. Finally, the doctor came in about 6 in the morning and checked and said, "You've got a collapsed lung." And that's what it was. That was reverse respiration. As I breathed in, air escaped because the pipe was keeping the valve open, I guess. So anyway, yeah, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, and it can lead to death. Hi there.
I'm back. I know. I've been all over the place today.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got something to show you.
Okay.
I got some fish this week from Chase. Caught them, and he took them to Andre's, and Andre shipped them to me. And they are...
Oh, Lee's Killifish.
Lee's Killifish, that's right. I got about 10 of these, or 15, and I got about 15 bluefin killies.
Nice.
So we'll get you some more. We'll get you some more of each. They're a really interesting fish. They range all over Florida. They range west to Texas. You could probably catch them in Texas. They range north up through Georgia into South Carolina. So they're a relatively warm water fish. They can tolerate temperatures down into the 50s, 40s for a short period. They range from, I have caught them in soft acid water and hard alkaline water.
You talk about least killy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I've caught them in a complete range of water, everything from brackish to spring water. Um, they're a tiny fish.
Mm-hmm.
The females, neither of them get an inch. They don't get that big. The males maybe half an inch. The females 3/4 of an inch, a little better, approaching an inch perhaps.
Okay.
They bear one baby. The female bears one baby a day when they're cranking them out. Um, they are extremely gentle. They're uh, they're a very peaceful fish.
Mm-hmm.
They eat primarily microfauna, but they also will eat vegetable matter. So they're an omnivore,
Mm-hmm.
but primarily they survive on microfauna. The babies are the size of a baby guppy. So they're a little smaller, but not much. So that's part of the reason they only have one at a time because they're more fully developed when they're born. They're
Okay.
they're not as tiny as you would expect them to be given the size of the parent.
Right.
They're water typically they're in water from 60 to 85 or so. But as I said, I've caught them in colder water. And the water in Florida, occasionally you get down into the 40s, and
Yeah.
they'll survive in that for short periods of time. So it's a very easy fish to keep. It's really a perfect nano fish
Mm-hmm.
because they're completely gentle. They will eat baby shrimp, but they won't mess with larger shrimp.
Right.
So they're pretty easy to keep. The only downside is they're not particularly colorful.
I did see that. Well, I mean, they're not colored up right now. You just got them. But the ones I have, the three that I have, uh, they're they're still. I mean, their stripes are darker. I can see a little bit like a colorful sheen to, especially the females. But yeah, I mean, they're not like the scarlet baddis or any, or the ever.
Or a guppy or an endler, yeah, they're not like
Yeah.
that. Right. They are a fish that could be worked with, though.
Mm-hmm.
There are colorations on the fish that genetically could be brought out. I think if somebody worked for about 10 or 15 generations doing selective breeding, they could whoever did that could discover some color morphs that would completely change the character of the fish in the hobby and
Mm-hmm.
make it far more desirable.
Yeah.
The guppy, for example, has an endler is essentially a wild guppy. So if you look at all of the fantails and the fancy colors of the guppies, they
Mm-hmm.
all came out of essentially an endler.
Yeah.
And the endlers, for that matter, have been bred for far more color. So the wild endlers have one or two color spots, but that typically leaves it out.
Yeah.
So, this coloration issue with fish is something that's developed by breeders by selecting fish that have what's called morphs. A
Mm-hmm.
morph is a slight variation in the genetic variation in the fish, and if you pull that out and breed it back to another fish, you'll get more of that characteristic. And that's the whole design of selective breeding. That's what selective breeding is. You're looking for unusual characteristics and you breed that fish either back to the parent or to a sibling in order to be able to reinforce that characteristic. And sometimes it even works.
That marbled gambusia that I have, that male marbled, beautiful male marbled gambusia, I stick that in with a bunch of those females, I could potentially get more.
Oh, you will, but it'll only be the males.
Why the males?
It's just the nature of the genetics.
Guys. Oh, well. We were talking about the least killifish. Misfit became a YouTube member. Thank you, Brandon. I have it. Misfit? You know Misfit, right, Fatherfish?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much.
He's got some sort of rare Pseudo McGill that I keep hoping he'll part with to me.
Right.
But he loves them, so they're not for sale. So
Aquafunk is here.
Yeah.
Hey, Aquafunk, good to see you.
Yeah. I love him. He's a hoot. Speaking of the least killifish, Brentwood wants to know what plants would do well in that 60 range with them.
What size tank?
We'll find out. Johnny says that there's some wild guppies at the warehouse in the Johnny at Dance Fish, and he says that the males are quite colorful, which goes in line with what you were saying about only the males will look pretty like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aquafunk does select breeding too. Dee Dee does. You ever met his wife? What a dear. She is amazing. And he has some amazing children. That's selective breeding for you.
There you go. So Grenwood says she has many That's my problem too. So she's got the smallest is a 10-gallon and the largest is the 35. So.
All right. You can keep them. Well, I could keep these guys in here. I won't. But a 1-gallon jar works real well for least killies. I mean, they're tiny fish.
Yeah.
You want to put a little dirt in the bottom, some sand on it, get some plants going, and put them in the window.
Well, that's exactly what she was asking. She was asking about what plants would do well with the least killifish, and I guess I'll just throw something out there. A 10-gallon tank that would be within obviously the deep substrate and in that 50 range-ish. I guess 60, range-ish. I'm hoping like 68 or something. I guess an unheated tank.
Yeah, hornwort's good. Anything really. I've got this dwarf sage, or dwarf sword rather. That's what these are. And they do real well. But, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like.
Yeah. Speaking of hornwort, Chick of the Sea wants to know how to care for it. So, real quick story. I got some blue dream shrimp from somebody ages ago, hence why I have some. And I don't know, it's like probably about 10 of them. And some of them were babies. And the guy who gave them to me, he gave me about this big of a sprig of hornwort. That's what I started with. I have so much hornwort.
You do.
That's just what you saw in my Scarlet Baddest tank. I sent like a gallon, like one of those Ziploc bags full to somebody earlier this week, just because he said he'll take it. I don't know what to do with it. I have so much hornwort is growing out of my ears, and I have a hard time just simply, just throwing it out. But the thing that does work with hornwort a lot, though, is that a lot of the scuds really like clinging to it. And so, when I take hornwort out of something, I'm always like inspecting it for bugs, and when I say bugs, microfauna that I can reuse.
Right.
It takes a little bit of time.
One of the things that's important to understand about plants is that plants achieve in a given environment, they will achieve a climax um, status or position where they will grow out to the maximum amount that they're able to in that environment, and then they'll essentially stop growing. They'll just stay at that level more or less permanently. So as you pull plants out, they're going to continue to grow. But if you left them in there, they would stop growing. Now they will stop growing at a level where that may be 10 times more than you want. So that's a consideration.
Well, I mean, I was trying to pull some out of the Scarlet Baddest tank because it had totally overgrown, and then I'm like, oh, better not.
You think there are babies in that, right? Well,
yeah,
that's why the babies are there, because of that enormous plant growth.
Yes. So I am not complaining at all at this point. But yes, Bunny, I do have tons of pearlweed. I sold some earlier this week, but I still have so much more. But yeah, we'll get together. Brentwood has actually really been struggling with hornwort.
Won't die, but can't get anything stay good in the 60-degree range. It may simply be a little too cold. You'll get growth, but it's not going to be stupendous. That's fall weather or early spring weather. 60 degrees is that's like Canadian tundra. That's not warm. 60 degrees is not warm. It's a little chilly. And so you're not going to get really high growth. What about duckweed? Well, yeah, I passed. That's funny. My brother's wife and grandson want duckweed. They just think duckweed is the most wonderful thing in the world.
Oh.
They were going to buy duckweed. So I was driving by a farm today, and I looked over at the pond, and it's covered in duckweed, thick with duckweed. Duckweed grows everywhere. So I'm going to go back there and collect some duckweed for them.
Yeah, we need to, so I have a 20-gallon plant tank outside on my balcony, and I discovered not too long ago that it was massively teeming with scuds. The plants were not being eaten, but I had scuds, thousands of scuds in there, and I wasn't necessarily feeding them like routinely. I didn't realize that. I've started to feed them, like I've started to put boiled vegetables in there now, and now that population has just exploded again. But it was already very large and abundant. But my plants were doing fine. They were not, when they weren't being fed, when I wasn't feeding them, they were still a large population and they weren't eating the plants. And I had somebody on the Discord wanting to know, because I guess scuds have a reputation of eating plants if they don't have other alternatives. I haven't had too much of a big problem with that, but what's the interesting thing about this tank is that it's just simply covered. This is a 20-gallon long. I have some really nice plants in there. That's outside, but it's simply covered with duckweed, and that's where I see even especially during the day, where I see a lot of scuds, baby scuds too.
Up in the duckweed.
Up in the duckweed.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and the duckweed is very thick. Like we're talking several layers thick. So,
well, you know, in the wild, the most prolific place in the water column is right at the surface. That's where the majority of microorganisms and microflora live, right in that top 1 inch. You don't see it so much in floating water, but you will see it in a pond. You know, we see duckweed on a pond. What we don't realize is that duckweed is the harbinger of a huge variety of animal and other plant life. So
Hmm.
if you want to collect in a given environment, collect the top inch of water, and you'll get most of what's living in that environment. Chickadee was talking about limpets.
Yes, let's go
Saying he
back
has
to
a
that comment.
limpet problem.
Yeah. Yes, let's go back to that comment.
Um, any kind of snail, and for the sake of discussion, we'll refer to a limpet as a snail, since it occupies the same niche and does the same job. If you have a superabundance of small so-called pest snails, pond snails, ram's horns, limpets, any of those kinds of snails, uh, Malaysian trumpet snails. The reason they have become so prolific in your tank is because they're being provided with a very rich environment. The rich environment is composed of the material that you're putting in the tank to feed the fish, some of which gets eaten and creates detritus, creates waste, some of which does not get eaten. The snails feed on all of that. Now, it may be that all of the fish food you put in there is eaten, but because it's a substantial amount, it creates a large amount of detritus, more than the tank can otherwise handle through precipitation and breakdown by other microfauna.
Hmm.
And so the snails will thrive on this. They will multiply and thereby control that detritus. So the bottom line, if you have an explosion of snails, you have a situation where the snails are controlling a level of potential pollution in the tank that would otherwise cause extreme stress on the environment. So be thankful that the snails are doing that, because they're saving your silly butt, because you're overfeeding your fish.
Okay, so earlier, apparently there's some folks here think that Whip thinks that snails are the devil. I know that they've got a mixed reputation. Somebody doing, and I warned Bunny when I sent her plants. So just FYI, every plant that I send out is teeming with organics. Absolutely living, teeming with. You could potentially even get, because scuds are so hardy, you could potentially have scuds in among the plants as well, and they're definitely going to have snail eggs, detritus worms. I mean, you name it, it's probably in there, and it's a great way to jumpstart a cycle of a tank, an ecosystem of a tank. However, if you don't want to do that, if you want simply the plants as they are in a more sterile way, you can soak them in alum for a few hours. I could probably post the portions. You won't kill the plants, but you'll kill the snails and the eggs, and unfortunately everything else. But I feel like that's not a good option. I think that come what may, if you bring on the snails, especially my ram's horns, they're very pretty, and just like bring on the other organics, it's going to bring life into your tank.
Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to address the snail problem. Yes, and I also have bladder snails as well in there. And what's interesting is the bladder snails get eaten by almost everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything. I don't know what it, but they breed so fast, somehow they still manage to keep up. Yeah. So it's, I think that, I actually try to, I have more excess of ram's horns than I do have the bladder snail. So I try to kind of hold on to those a little bit. And yes, I sometimes do feed a little bit in excess enough so that I get extra snails, because right behind me some pea puffers, and they have no problem with helping me out. So, yes. So my plan, I've got more than one person who's reached out to me with scuds. So my plan is to actually send you some scuds, Fatherfish. And the reason why I want to send you some scuds is because you need it. You don't have any.
No, I don't. That's right.
I've ordered this thermal material that because I need to, it's hot out in Houston. So I've ordered this thermal material that I'm going to pack the box with, and then put somewhat of an ice pack in there. And then I'm going to send it to you, and I'm going to see if they survive in the mail from Texas all the way to Maryland. And that should be going out next week, because I should be getting that thermal material soon. And if you open up that package and those scuds are still alive, now they're very hardy. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we had a nuclear bomb go off, I'm pretty sure, how they say then the nuclear apocalypse happens, we'll have Twinkies still around and cockroaches still around. Well, I guarantee you also have scuds still around, because those things are hard to kill. Yeah. Oh, I could talk to you about ramshorn sizes, but yeah. So I want to see how they do. But I've already separated out some of the scuds that I want to send out to a few people. I literally have a 6 quart, which I'm feeding. I got it. I took them out of really everywhere. I found a huge population of scuds in my blackworm colony. So I took them out, put them in a 6 quart, and I've just been feeding them. And these things prolifically breed. And so I have a ton that are literally just dedicated to sending out cultures for people. Okay.
Seltzer is CO2. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to check that one out. But
Panotsky is here.
Panotsky, yes. Bunny had a question about how big ram's horns get.
Yeah, right.
So I have purposefully kept some specific ram's horns, like some red ones and some blue ones, and I've kept them. So every time I harvest a snail culture, I make sure that I remove those, because I want to keep them growing. And I have a couple of red ram's horns that are about the size of a quarter. Now, as they grow, they've got more. I've noticed they have more grooves along their shell, and I have to make sure that there's lots of calcium for them. But so it kind of looks like an old snail look, if you even kind of, if you can think about that. But most of my ram's horns don't get to about the size of. I have several of them the size of a quarter on purpose. Most of them don't get to that, because I take most of them, I feed them to the pea puffers, but or other things, because I'm pretty sure the scuds eat the ram's horns too. But I've just kept a few. You could call them the big mama, big papa. I don't know, but they literally. I've got a few of them in my 75 that are the size of a quarter.
There is another snail that looks like a ram's horn that gets even bigger. It'll get 2 inches, and it's an inveterate plant eater. It'll eat plants down to and including the roots.
Oh, so that's why the ram's horns get that bad reputation.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically, they don't. Typically, ram's horns do not eat plants.
Yeah,
but there are some species that are voracious plant eaters.
Yeah. There's well, not mine. They certainly haven't, because they're in all of my plants, all among my plant tanks, and they eat the decaying stuff. They, every time I see them around, they're either eating something, it's plant matter that's already decaying or soft or something like that. Yeah.
Bunny Viper's talking about peroxide. Peroxide is dangerous. Peroxide can wipe out the O2 in a tank with just a small amount of it. Seltzer water works pretty well, like Alka-Seltzer. That's CO2. In fact, I have some friends who use soda water as a CO2 supplement to grow plants. And they'll buy the little tiny bottles of soda water and put one of those in a 20-gallon tank once a week. And it provides adequate CO2 for their plants. They don't have deep substrate. If they had deep substrate, they wouldn't need to do it.
Okay.
Rabbits, snails will eat living plant matter. They will. I've had mixed results with them. I kept them in a heavily planted tank with a fair amount of nutrition in there, and they never bothered the plants. I carried them north in a tank with 4 inches of water and plants, and they chewed the plants apart. I mean, chewed them down to the nub. So if they have nothing else, they'll eat plants. If you can feed them adequately on spinach or other plant material, they'll prefer that to your growing plants.
Okay. Bunny says she was talking about a peroxide dip, I think, in terms of killing off. I think.
Yeah. I'm with EJ here. I think if you're going to do that, then what you really ought to do is take a blowtorch to the plant, because there's not much point in having a plant in a tank if you don't want living material in your tank.
I love it when you put stuff like that. You're like, this way and not that way, period. And to, you know, I like, and I'm with you on that, but I'm not going to tell somebody to blowtorch their plant. Essentially, if they use the alum to essentially sterilize the plant, I wouldn't recommend it. But it will, because it won't jumpstart the tank. You'll have to grow the organic matter all over again. And
the reality is, if you kill all the living material that's living on a plant, you're ultimately killing the plant, because the plant is dependent upon the environment that it's living in, and that environment contains other living things. Living things depend on living things. They don't depend on non-living things. They may depend on dead things, but not non-living things.
Circle of life.
Life feeds on life. Life does not feed on rocks.
Yeah. The planaria's got a bad reputation. And I will say that I've had more problems with Hydra than I've had with planaria. Planaria is not a problem for me. And I'm talking about as long as it's a balanced ecosystem and you're not overfeeding your fish. But I know that some of my organic stuff does have planaria, so be warned, folks. I'm not gonna. Yes, it is creepy. But the funny thing is that it gets eaten, and I've had planaria in tanks where shrimp are growing and thriving, baby fish are growing and thriving. And how does that work if planaria is in there? Because it's a balanced ecosystem.
There are only a few kinds of planaria that are a problem. Most of them are vegetarian. There are only a few that are parasites.
Oh, in that case, I don't have any parasite back then, because I've never.
And the other issue that you raise is is really the critical one. I did a video some time ago. One of the best videos I ever did on parasites, and it investigates parasites in a normal environment.
Mm-hmm.
Virtually everything is a parasite. Everything is parasitizing on something else. There's very little that's not parasitic. So having a balance in the system where where life can go on and things can manage to survive in the presence of other things is really what balance is all about. It's a matter of having things that are a wide enough variety to be able to control what's happening. Think about it this way. In a in a typical environment in the wild, in nature, let's look at a pond. In a pond, in a cubic inch of dirt and water in that pond, there are 1,000 species of bacteria. There are 400 to 500 species of fungus. There are hundreds of species of microfauna and microflora. So there are literally thousands of different, not just individual animals, but species of animals in the smallest little environment. What are they doing in there? They are competing with each other in such a way as to create a balance, a harmony that precludes the possibility of any one thing becoming dominant. Now, that dominance occurs when through either man-made involvement or some other natural involvement, a whole substantial segment of that population is wiped out. And what's left is just a few species that achieve a monoculture or a culture where there are only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 species. Then the conflict rages, and it may be that the species that survives is able to dominate everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That is a polluted environment. That is precisely what occurs in an aquarium where the attempt is being made to keep it sterile. That's exactly what happens because sterility is an impossibility. It cannot occur in nature. And so the attempt to create it is merely killing off all but those hardiest and strongest and most vigorous and most destructive of critters that are going to dominate what's going on. That's why in a sterile environment you get disease
Mm-hmm.
because the pathogens are allowed to dominate.
Yeah. I think Ro last week on Sunday when she filled in for Mary, she said that she purposefully exposes her fish to ick, like purposefully, because she wants to make sure that they can survive everything when she sends them out, which, I didn't know it at the time, but apparently she's got an amazing reputation for any fish that she sells, that to live a long life, be beautiful and hardy. And that I have you, as you were just saying, the two are connected.
You bet. You bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they're still talking about snails.
All right.
Yeah. So I had a pH sits around. Brentwood's trying to figure out why she has problems with, it's not her, but it's not just her, but they why they get pest snails, but they can't keep mystery snails. And it's kind of what you were saying earlier. And pest snails are very hardy. They'll live through a lot, and they'll take up the resources over the mystery snails if you let them.
Right.
Um,
Let's see.
yeah, that's the starvation for the snails. Hydra. Johnny at Dan's Fish says he had Hydra, but which he thinks is very cool, and I agree, it's very cool. But he had some geophagus fry, so he had to get rid of it. I'm pretty sure that Hydra's taken out a couple of fry for me, and that's bothered me a lot. And they've taken
exactly out what it does. That's right.
And they've taken out entire Daphnia tanks, which
as well as brine shrimp. I used to get them with brine shrimp.
Yeah, I do. When I feed an excessive amount of brine shrimp to certain tanks, all of a sudden they pop up. In which case, I tell the fish, because I talk to my fish, y'all aren't getting any more shrimp. You take care of that stuff right there.
Right.
Yeah, so we're working on that. I think you told me a pearl gourami would work.
Yeah, pearl gourami. Yeah, that's a really pretty fish. It's a very gentle gourami, and it gets pretty good size. They'll get 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the prettiest of the large gouramis, and one of the most gentle. It's not aggressive. A blue gourami, for example, will kill everything else in the tank. And the absolute worst one is the paradise. The paradise are ninjas. They are.
You can only have one.
Yeah, all by itself, right?
Yeah.
Stunningly beautiful fish.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazingly beautiful fish.
What about the honey gourami? Would that also be very good for taking out Hydra? It's very small.
Yeah, it is, and it's a pretty easy one to keep. And it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's maybe an inch.
Yeah.
Also, when you get down below that, the sparkling gourami.
I was wondering about that.
They're neat, and the other is
I want to get some.
Called the croaking gourami. They're both about half an inch long.
But if the sparkling gourami isn't the croaking gourami, how come the sparkling gourami does make noise?
Well, guess nobody told it not to. I don't know.
Okay, that's true. Okay. Kevin says he's got a pair of paradise fish in his fish tub with golden white clouds. Yeah, it's because the golden white clouds are faster than the paradise fish.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You can get away with it with certain kinds of fish.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you can't get away with it is a pupfish or the Florida flags. The Florida flag, which is a pupfish, is on the move. It's on the move all the time. It chases everything. It doesn't nip. It's not a biter. It's simply aggravating. And it aggravates every other fish to death.
I've got an American flagfish in this tank.
One in there. Yeah.
One. He's a male and he's very pretty, and I still haven't taken him out. But I've got 3 killifish in there. The golden mountain, what was it? The golden minnow mount. Golden minnows.
Mountain minnow, right?
Yeah, the golden minnows, the 3 killifish, and then of course there are the pea puffers, and that little devil. He's fine. They're fine. They're all more or less semi-aggressive, so they kind of even each other out.
Yeah,
I think.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you only have one, you can get away with it.
Yeah, I only have the one. He's really pretty. He's a male, and
Can white clouds be kept with least killing? Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The white cloud is not an aggressive fish. It's a very peaceful fish, as is the least killing. So yeah, they would do well together, and they live in slightly different environments. The least killing is going to stay more or less on the bottom, whereas the
Oh,
The white cloud's going to be up in the water column.
okay. We've got yes, pygmy cories. I've had 10 pygmy cories. I had like 15 celestial pearl danios. I had some red cherry shrimp. And I had a beta, and when I finally broke that tank down, I had well over 100 shrimp. So
Yeah.
they didn't, I mean, a beta, those little celestial pearl danios, and I'm sure the pygmy corydoras, none of them took out all of the baby shrimp population. Um, so I've got this 5-gallon, and I was going to put some least killifish in there and the blue dream shrimp. But if you're telling me that they live mostly on the bottom, what would I be able to put something on the top? Because this 5-gallon marine land's more tall than anything else.
Well, it's kind of problematic because most anything you're going to put on the top is going to be
Schooling.
aggressive,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the golden top minnow.
Yeah, I don't want that. The white cloud mountain minnows I feel are too big for a 5-gallon, especially a 5-gallon tall. I know some people you can put them in smaller, but I don't.
Put a betta in there.
With the least killifish?
Yeah, he'll eat the babies,
Uh-huh.
but he ain't going to chase anything.
Oh, all right. I'll think about it. It would be definitely a highlight of the tank. Okay, it would be a highlight of the tank. I'll think about it. That's not a bad idea.
You could do endlers.
I could do endlers. I could. Yeah, I could. Well, we'll see. I do know for certain that I want the blue dream shrimp in there and the least killies. And since I know I have 2 females and a male, I think I might be able to make some babies out of that. So, and
Well,
also,
now that you're getting a population
mhm.
of scarlet batis, you could do batis or you could do Elisoma, the Everglade.
I was thinking about that too. I've got in my 75-gallon. I know I have several females, but it's going to be a pain to catch. But I have 2 males that really don't like each other. I thought there was 1 male, 1 female, but no, they're 2 beautiful Elisoma males. And
I'm going to be getting more in a week or so.
Okay.
So I will have. I think I'm going to get 25. Frank's going to go out and do some collecting.
Nice.
And I just heard from Andres today. He's going to ship me 25 of them, probably next week.
Okay. Next week, I'm hoping to get out some scud cultures. If anybody wants them, just hit me up on Discord. I'm going to use you as the guinea pig. And also, when it comes to the green water, I know when I talk about the plants, I talk about how I don't really like a lot of microfauna it's true organic.
Right.
But when it comes to the green water, because I only want one type, which is that single-celled organism, having any green water that I send, and I'll send you some, Fatherfish. It's going to be literally green water, and that's it. There's not going to be anything in there that will eat the green water. It's been carefully filtered with water that is more or less spring water without anything living in it. Because apparently it works. It works. So
well, it's important to be able to have that kind of culture because you want to be able to use the green water as food for other microfauna. And you can't do it if it's infected because it'll deplete it. So you need to be able to have pure green water culture.
Yeah. Although the green water that I keep outside is not what I would call pure. I know there's stuff in there because it's outside, but that silk net idea, I'm telling you, man, that's money right there. Yeah.
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, you say you've got green water. Just filter it through a silk cloth of some kind. I turned a net. I sewed a silk cloth into a net, and you can literally use whatever you whatever water you filter through will be pure. You can feed it to anything, including babies. So when I discovered I had baby Batis, and I know it was a large one, but there's more. There's got to be more. And I know it's really tiny. If I have some really baby fry, I'm feeding it green water too, among other things.
Danny Ken's here. Hey, Danny
Hey.
Ken. Nice to see you, Kenny. Verily. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny at Dan's Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is here? Clint. You know what?
We've had some folks come in. I'm sorry we haven't greeted you all. What is Nanochromis splendens or I mean, I'm obviously showing my ignorance.
Yeah, the Nanochromis is it's a crebensis type fish from East Africa that lives in the Lake Tanganyika environment.
So
really pretty fish. The Apisto is a South American dwarf cichlid.
20-gallon long. Kevin wants to know which one. Oh, I guess he's asking Kenny that. Hey, Crystal. Crystal is here too. Verily, who is Orange Cones? I guess it's somebody. I mean, hey, I've got scuds. Lord knows I got them. And you know what's interesting is that people assume that scuds are only one type of species, like one type. But I'm pretty sure I have I have a lot of different variations of scuds.
Well, there are. Yeah.
In different sizes.
Species. That's right.
Yeah.
There are saltwater scuds, freshwater scuds.
Mm-hmm.
There are hardwater and saltwater scuds. There's scuds in different temperatures, different environments.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not all scuds are equal.
I've got some dark gray ones that get quite large, but like all scuds, their babies start out small. And I've got some lighter, almost beigey gray scuds that start and I don't go by how big they get necessarily. Well, yes, I do, but their sexual maturity is small. How I know is because I see them breeding together, because the male and the female, until they molt, they're together. These are really tiny looking scuds. They look like babies, yet they've reached sexual maturity. So it's different variations. And don't ask me to separate them. I can't. I don't know how. There are too many of them.
Let's see. Kenny's saying the splendens, it's a West African cichlid.
Mm-hmm.
He says 3 breeding pair. I thought they were East African. He's saying they're West African.
Uh-huh.
The crebensis is West African. They're from the what's it called? My brain's gone. The Ivory Coast.
Mm-hmm.
From the Ivory Coast. As are a lot of killies. All right, I think we're running into Lucas. Yeah, you so.
Yeah.
If he's there.
Checking.
He is.
I'll go
Yes, he is.
I mean, I got but I got some baby Batis I got to check out. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, thanks, guys. Nice to be with you all. Good to have you here tonight. I will be back Sunday, hopefully with Mary, if she's able to get her get back online. She's not been able to be online for a couple of weeks, so hopefully she will, and we'll be able to be with her on Sunday.
Okay.
Why are we always yelling?
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah, I need to
I love it.
give him a wrench.
So he can yell at lots of people.
Really, really. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Great to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you next week and see you Sunday.
Yep,
Bye for
good.
now.
Bye, everybody.